Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about Townstar. I started a wool start for uh, the purpose of building straight into uniforms, and then I did like a uniform setup, and I didn't really complete it. I didn't have a lot of time, and I'm trying to do this work on the monthly server a little bit uh, as I go, but this is that same build, and this is sort of a continuation. So what I'm going to do is show you how to get it set up for uniforms. And so right now what I've done is really I have a forklift instead of the workers, and right now all I have are three um, loggers and three tractors, and I'm working on getting some ATVs going, and I've still just got this one fabric plant making the wool yarn, and that's what I'm selling. What you could have done is I let this go for a while to build up money. What I could have done is, even if I didn't have this built out, and by the way, I built this out so that I could put a water pump and a power plant. I described it in the other video, but I don't know how well that translates into people's minds what I'm trying to convey. But so there'll be a water pump and a power plant, a water pump and a power plant, and then on the inside of this loop I'll have some fabric plants, and the ones that are touching the power plant are going to have 3 energy, and it takes 3 energy to make uniforms, and it just takes 1 energy to make yarn. So even if I have it up here, even if I had another layer within on the inside and whatnot, I can put them across the street also if I have a need for more uniform plant or fabric plants. So there are lots of possibilities, and all I'm doing is showing you the basics of how to do it, and use your imagination and your creativity and go from there. And so this is just the basic minimum of how, like, I've got some trees going, and I'm going to change this up and put some and I can have the sheep down here. I can have some crops. I can have my cotton and my wheat all here in the middle, and maybe have a road across. Anyway, you'll see how I end up building it out. But right now, I just wanted to let you see before I get very far. This is like the bones of it. And like I say, I'm going to put those power plants over here, and then have some more uniform factories or fabric plants. Excuse me. I want to call them uniform factories because really that's all that I use them for, is to make uniforms. You make the yarn, the wool and the cotton yarn, and then make it into uniforms. But anyway, so that's where we are. Just wanted to give you a peek, and I'll come back and show you a little bit at a time. That way you can kind of see it transform, and then you can have better ideas. And another thing, this is just an off the cuff kind of thing, and what I mean by off the cuff is I'm just kind of building it as I go, as I see fit. But in my opinion, the best thing to do is make yourself some graph paper and draw it out. sometimes it helps if you go ahead and build it. Go ahead and make a build on the monthly server so you have plenty of time, and just keep going back to it until you get it the way you want it, and then make a map of it, and then you can recreate it whenever you want, or take a picture of it, however, whatever works for you. There is a website called Citadel of the Wind or something like that, and maybe I'll do a video on that sometime. I did see that somebody, I think it was Lycan, did a video on it, and so you can use that for modeling. I think though that the best, nothing can beat doing the actual build and seeing how it works in real life, and then writing it down. And like I say, once you write it down, you might be like, well, you know what, after I've looked at that and my mind has had it on the back burner, then you might could do something else. All right, sorry about that, but basically what you can do is play around with it. If you set it up and then later on when you're looking at what you've got, you're like, well, you know what, I could have gained 4 spaces if I had just arranged these buildings a little differently, or things like that, and that can make a real big difference. So what you do is you set it up, see how it works. If it works pretty good, then that's probably a good plan, and you can improve on that. If it doesn't work worth a crap, it's like, well, at least you know what doesn't work, and you can, start over, or just know next time what didn't work and don't go that route. So anyway, I'll be back as we go here. Okay, just to let you guys know what I'm doing. You probably would do this commonsensically, or maybe if you've seen some of my videos before, you know how I do this. But for those who may not know, what I'm doing is I'm looking at how many tractors do I need to keep up with the wheat demand. It's kind of like I've got, the way I decided how many ranchers, at least at this time, that I wanted was I've got 6 of them, and what I did was I've got 6 sheep pens now. I added some more, and I've got 6 grinders, and I've got 2 troughs. Okay, and the troughs are just for convenience sake. You don't have to have 2, but I'm hoping that they kind of keep them full, and the sheep don't have as far to move if you have this. This is kind of in the way. I can move it and maybe put it up here and put the grinder here. I just have been a little lazy in that regard right now. And so I just wanted you to know that what I'm doing for figuring out how many tractors is, right now I want to keep up with the wheat demand. So I kind of would like to see the wheat really building up in there. Not like crazy where it stays at 20 the whole time, but 10 probably wouldn't be bad. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, just enough to say, well, maybe there's 5 wheat all the time. So then I have enough tractors. And because my next step is going to be, well, I've got to build these power plants out so that I can start my fabric plants. But the next step, and by the way, I've got enough loggers, but I'm still using 2 lumberjacks, but they seem to be keeping up pretty well with the wood demand. I've got the one lumber mill running, and you can see I've got wood extra wood building up in these sheds here. So that looks pretty good. The farmers, like I say, I think I need a couple more farmers, at least this one. Then I need to build these power plants, and the reason why the farmers are important at this point is my next step is to clean this mess up and get to growing some cotton and wheat. Now the wheat's already kind of growing, but I can do better with the wheat situation. But the cotton, if we're already not keeping up wheat wise, then we've got an issue trying to do wheat and cotton. See what I mean? So what I want to do is get the wheat situation straight, or pretty straightened out, and then I will introduce cotton to the mix and be able to add a few farmers to pick the cotton, and I can kind of tell at that point, better what's going on. So just letting you know, that's where we are with that. And so next, I think what I'm going to do is it's looking like we're keeping like a couple of wheat all the time now, and then maybe I had some of these wheat patches, wheat fields that didn't have enough water, and I think that was part of my problem, is that they were having to water them. So I removed those, added a few more wheat. I can remove these by the river. Everybody realizes that there's 5, 4, 3. So this row here can grow automatically. Now this row is the 2, but as long as they're touching a marsh, like I'll be able to remove this one and it'll be touching this marsh. I'll probably leave those 2 marshes so I can have this little bit of extra wheat. I like that scenario with the wheat, and but I may be able to have plenty of room without it, because quite frankly, you don't need that much cotton normally. I think they changed cotton, so it's a little different, but if I have this bottom row of cotton and then these next 2 rows of wheat, I think that will probably be plenty of what I need, at least for the build that I'm doing. This build, like I say, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be completely optimal, but it's a good place to start. So I'll be back. Alright guys, this is really as far as I think I need to go with this build. Just to recap what's going on here. I just turned this one on to make uniforms, and you can see that it gets 3 energy. So all of the ones who are touching, even this one is touching this diagonally. All those get 3 energy. So, and the same is true for the ones down here touching this power plant. Okay, so you've got more than enough that you can use to, even if you had ones on the outside all the way around it, you would still be able to, you probably wouldn't need more than that would be 2, 4, 6, 8. There's no way that you would need even 8. That's even too many doing making uniforms. Okay, so what I have done is I have turned on a little bit of cotton, and I've deleted some of the wheat. I've added another silo to help with the balancing out and whatnot. You can see that this silo is more convenient than this one, so they're mainly using this one, and it's not horrible for the Power Rangers over here, but or the ranchers. I think I need some more of these ATVs, honestly. The sheep, if you want to produce that quickly, can be pretty labor intensive, so you need kind of a lot. But if you look and say, well, we're ahead on wool, we're not waiting on wool per se. I mean, she's working it, right? But she's not, it's not a great wool deficit. So that may be pretty close to tweaked. I don't know. It depends. If you wanted to have, say, 2 doing wool and maybe 3 more doing cotton and another one doing uniforms, then that would probably be the better situation there. And one thing to remember is that you can sell the wool yarn. That's what I've been doing and making money. That's why I went with, part of the reason why I went with wool first. But you can also sell any extra cotton yarn that you have. Now, I don't find that cotton yarn is really all that cost effective, in that you wouldn't just want to be selling cotton yarn. However, if while you're balancing out and whatnot, or even if it just turns out that you have a surplus of cotton yarn a good bit of the time, then certainly sell it. But like I say, I've only got a couple of these cotton fields turned on, and I've got a couple more that I can turn on, but right now it looks like we're keeping up with the demand pretty well. That one's already making some cotton yarn. So this is, pretty much it. I added, and you can do this, I've got that power plant gives 3 right next to it and 2 power on the next. So this has 2 power from that power plant, and I just put another water pump, and I could actually put another lumber mill here. And the main reason why I did this is because this lumber mill wasn't keeping up with my building, but also because my trees are right here. So my logger guys, have to run all the way over there to feed that one. If I built 2 right here, which certainly I have the money for it because I had saved up, so I could build this one here and do away with this one, or whatever. Like I say, it's up to you to tweak this thing the way you want it. But in my opinion, the first thing to do is to get started. Until you've got something built, and then you say, well, you know what, if I had started this like 1 row over this way, then I could have put more uniform factories or more fabric plants down the side, and then that kind of thing. So you'll figure out what you think is the winning combination, and really, in my opinion, that's the fun of the game. If you follow exactly my blueprint, well, then you're not going to feel as accomplished, and you're not going to be able to beat me or anybody else that's using my blueprint. In that case, it'd be a matter of who got their build done first. So just use this as a way to get started. Like I say, go on the monthly server and play with that and work with it and have fun with it. It's a way to have fun and earn money at the same time. So anyway, I just wanted to share this finale of the uniform build. I know that I had showed part of it, and I just felt bad for kind of leaving people hanging that might not realize how to do it. But I hope this was informative and helpful, and thank you very much for watching, and good luck with your builds, and I'll see you in the next video.